Hey guys, I want to have a really solid first aid kit. One that I can just grab and put it in my bag and start my hike with Gigi. In addition, I'm going to buy a bigger one that I can store in my car and just kind of have a surplus of supplies. I like to bulk buy if I can. It just saves time, money, and organization of it all. So today I went to Walgreens and I purchased what I thought were the most important pieces for a travel first aid kit. This first aid kit is meant to be for myself, Gemini, and other humans that end up going on my hiking and camping trips, in addition to in case Gigi gets hurt. So I had her in my mind. Now, I didn't get everything I had on my original list. And then when I got to Walgreens, I was like, ooh, what about that? And so I am going to revise my list. And I would love to know what you guys think are like the essentials in a hiking first aid kit and a first aid kit for your pet, your dog. Leave a comment below. So to start off, from my lovely Walgreens, I figured for myself and for Gigi, these would be super useful, self-adherent wrap, right? So definitely if you had a huge cut and a bandage is just, or band-aid is just not big enough. Then I got these larger band-aids because I'm going to tell you a slight off the path story. When I lived in Australia, I went on a date, and like the first date when I met this guy, and we went on like a little hiking date to one of the waterfalls, and everything was hunky-dory. I was trying not to embarrass myself, and then we start to turn around, and we were on rocks, and I ate. I felt so hard, and like my leg slid between the rocks and everything. I literally like gouged out a chunk of my skin in my leg, and I had like, it looked really bad. I don't think I have photos of it anymore, but I do have a slight scar because it was that bad. And we did not carry a first aid kit, nor did he have anything, nor was he very concerned about it. So you can imagine how that date went. Hand sanitizer. Thought that this would be, helpful. Antibiotic ointment. So basically Neosporin, but y'all, trying to buy things kind of on the less pricey side. So I got Walgreens version. It cannot be any different. Off-brand, basically the exact same thing, if not the same thing. And tape. I took forever looking at all the different tapes because I wasn't sure which would be the most beneficial. And I don't know if I'll ever need a tape. Hopefully I don't fall too hard or like get into some type of accident. But I was thinking more for Gigi, which I also don't think or want any of that out in the universe. But I figured that this would be helpful if something did happen. And then I got blister cushions. I was very tempted in not getting these because I was like, I have Band-Aids, yada, yada, yada. But let's be honest, when you're hiking or doing long walks, things happen. If you're trying to break in shoes or you're wearing shoes that you thought were comfortable but aren't really, or they're old, and you put a Band-Aid on, the Band-Aid just kind of starts to rub off. So I figured I might save myself, and I got these. I've never used them before, so hopefully they're actually beneficial. Then I thought, gauze pads would be extremely helpful. This was definitely a me and Gigi purchase. A lot of the things that I purchased that would go in my first aid kit for myself would also basically benefit your little pup. I used, Google, and a lot of the things listed for, human first aid kits equated to what you would want and need for a dog. The one thing that they added that I didn't know or wouldn't have thought of adding was milk of magnesia, which I thought about getting this first time, but I just don't see myself hopefully ever really needing that with Gigi, but dogs get into things and wild things are out there. But I don't plan on any huge hiking, camping trips right away because Florida heat is really bad until like the end of September, October. So I felt like I had time to purchase that for later. Then I got this tweezer set, which is another thing that took me forever to decide on. And I was like, do I even get one of the tweezers here? But I decided on these minis because they do come in all different shapes. And I just kept going back and forth being like, I don't really know what shape would be best. And I'm no medic, so, and I know that anything that I had bought at Walgreens wouldn't be like medic approved. Actually, I don't know about that, and that would be really cool. Anyone that is a medic, let me know what you guys use. But I figured it's a good shot. It gives me 4 options. So now, because I'm in Florida, the sun is always out. Always. And I just had one of my very first pretty bad burns in a long time. And what's crazy is I put on sunscreen a bunch of times. I have no idea what happened. I was at the beach, still water, but I stayed out of the water when I put the sunscreen on for a little bit. Things happen. So I've got lip balm that has SPF. Because I figured if I'm going to be outside all day with Gigi, I should protect the lips. My precious lips. And then on top of that, I got just the classic chapstick. Because I don't need nothing special for my first aid kit. To go along with keeping myself sun protected, skin protected, I got sunscreen in like the deodorant style. I was really up in the air about getting the spray, or like I wouldn't have gotten the spray, the lotion. But I'm really hoping that like if I use or need this sunscreen, it's because I ended up outside hiking way longer than I thought I would be, or I'm like sweating profusely. Because I'm gonna have sunscreen with me, like in my car, in like another special hiking kit, just for that. Anyway, these are just, like I said, essentials. Then alcohol prep wipes. Now, super important. This goes along kind of with like the hand sanitizer, but obviously for your wounds and for your puppy's wounds in case anything does happen. Now, the magic comes, right? So if something does happen and you need a little extra help and you ain't going to be able to get anywhere soon enough, fast enough, hopefully that does not happen to you, I got Tylenol and ibuprofen, which unfortunately I just found out I really cannot take these. So I got these like in case of a serious emergency, but also for anyone that travels with me, and if they want them. So I have a heart condition, and I'm on a few different medications because I have a few different things going on with me. And another side story, it's interesting how the medical field works, and I love my doctors I have now, and I think most people in the medical field mean well, and pharmacists, but neither seem to truly go over medication. And I recently had my arm checked out for like super severe tendonitis. And one of the doctors had mentioned, oh, you could be taking ibuprofen to help with like the swelling and pain, but looking at your medical file and the medications that you take, you can't take these. So these are my suggestions for topicals instead. And I was like, what? I've been taking these off and on forever, and I was taking them a lot when my tendonitis first acted up. So this is my PSA, I guess, to always ask and double check. And I usually am really good at advocating things like that for myself, but it wasn't something on my mind. So now, I can take Tylenol. Most people, I think, can take Tylenol. It's not for swelling, it's just pain medication. In addition to the tweezers, I got scissors because the gauze, the tapes, I ain't chewing on those. Then obviously I got some cotton balls for any additional needs. Another thing that I do not see myself ever using for me, myself and I, but in case for Gigi, I hear Benadryl, dogs can use that. Obviously I will look up the correct amount that she should have, but I also only got the like cream. I didn't get the liquid or the tablet of Benadryl. I was kind of up in the air if that would be useful or not for Gigi. I thought the cream is a good start. For me, I wear contacts and I'm so blind, and I have like the driest eyes sometimes. So I thought eye drops would be super helpful to have, because I actually carry eye drops in almost every purse I have because a girl needs help. Burn gel. Alright, so I'm truly hoping that I will never need to use this, but in case something goes wrong, or you do get severely burned, so like sunburn or anything like that, if you're outside for a crazy amount of time or like just out there lost. But yeah, campfires, anything like that, in case something happens. I was also up in the air about getting this, but I figured if they're the activities that I want to do, I run a risk. So, and the last thing is more Band-Aids, like an actual variety pack. And I could not help myself. I needed to get fun Band-Aids. But they seem really nice. So I think I chose wisely.